What's up guys, today I'll be doing a comparison test between the Whisper of the Worm and the Sleeper Simulant and all that good stuff. Now like usual, the damage numbers aren't going to be exact for every situation because depending on the light level and enemy you're shooting, they will vary, but the percents will be the same no matter what. So let's start off with the damage. On this Ogre, the Whisper hits 1931. Now doing the same thing with the Sleeper, for a headshot it hits 2262, but the thing with Sleeper is you can bounce them and it splits into 5 different shots and you can technically hit all 5 shots on the same enemy like this, and if you do that you hit 754 per shot 5 times. So throwing all the numbers up on the screen, the Whisper hits 1931, Sleeper headshot 2262, Sleeper bounce in total 3770, so the Sleeper can technically do 74.5% more damage per shot. Now let's look at the rate of fires of the two weapons, shooting 8 shots with both, first with Sleeper. As you see here, it's going to take quite a while without the Masterwork. It is a fusion rifle, so that makes sense. As you see here, it took 11.682 seconds. Now doing the same thing with the Whisper of the Worm, it's going to be much faster. Even though it's the highest impact model of sniper, it's still a lot faster than a Sleeper. As you see here, 8 shots took roughly 5.565 seconds. So that means in total, the Whisper has a 110% faster rate of fire than Sleeper Simulant. As you see, the Whisper outdamages both Sleeper headshots and Sleeper bounces in terms of damage per second. Also keep in mind that hitting all 5 Sleeper bounces is not even consistent in the first place. And here are the percent numbers for how much Whisper outdamages the Sleeper in terms of headshots and bounces. Now let's throw the two catalysts into the mix. Once Masterwork, both weapons get an increase in their damage per second with the new added perk in 2 separate ways. First with the Sleeper, it's going to be an increase in rate of fire. So once again, we're going to test that again, shoot 8 shots with the Masterwork version of the Sleeper and see how much faster we shoot now. As you see, it feels quite a bit faster, but actually it's honestly not that big of a difference. 8 shots took 10.5 seconds. So now reworking the Sleeper DPS numbers, as you see, the Sleeper bounces now actually outdamage the Whisper in terms of per second. But to be fair, the Whisper also has a catalyst also, which is box breathing. Box breathing is a 72.5% buff on top of your base crit damage. Some people believe it increases the crit modifier of the weapon, which I don't believe is true, but it's hard to prove because there's only a few snipers in the game with box breathing. But based off some of the numbers of the EP Sniper, using it in combo with other buffs, the math works out that it is treated like a buff in the game, just like Trench Barrel, and it is not a crit modifier. Also from a coding standpoint, it makes no sense for Bungie to have 100 plus buffs in the game that all work a certain way, but then add one that works differently than all the other ones. It would make no sense to rework the entire buff system for one perk compared to all the other 100 plus that have been in Destiny so far. Anyways, we cannot upgrade it yet. It's going to take 3 weeks, so 2 more resets to actually do it, but it should make the damage on this Ogre go from 1931 to 3330, which is 72.5% more. So now adding that to the DPS numbers, the Whisper now hits 4787 damage per second with the Masterwork if it works the same way as the EP Sniper box breathing works, which means it now outdamages Sleeper by 178% on headshots and 67% on bounces, but once again, hitting 5 bounces consistently on the same target is not very ideal at all. Not only does the Whisper outdamage Sleeper in terms of per second, but it will outdamage it by a lot on targets that don't die within the 8-10 shots of Sleeper. So, for example, on Argos, 8 or 10 Sleeper shots, depending on if you have the catalyst or not, will not kill him, and by the time you run out, he will still have a lot of health left. But the Whisper can technically never run out of ammo, so not only does it outdamage it in terms of per second, it will outdamage it by a huge factor in the long run. And that doesn't just only go for Sleeper, that goes for almost anything in the entire game. The Whisper will outdamage anything you throw at it in the long run. And also with the Masterwork, it can actually outdamage anything in the game in terms of damage per second. So if something like Callus that would die to 8 Sleeper shots, the Whisper still does more damage per second in it anyways, so it's even better in that scenario also. Since both weapons are both long-range weapons, there's almost no scenario where the Sleeper outdoes the Whisper. The Whisper is just a straight-up better gun than the Sleeper Simulant, and that's not even with the Masterwork yet. Once it has the Masterwork, it will not even be a comparison. It won't even be in the same sentence. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.
Was there a boss there?
Go down.
What? Are you kidding me?
184,000 crazy.